Today we're here exploring this northern German city that got all its fame and money from white gold. And yeah, by white gold, I mean salt. So we're here in Lüneburg in northern Germany. It's an easy day trip from Hanover or Hamburg. And we're gonna explore the city to see what to do, what to eat, and what you should do if you come visit Lüneburg for one day. So we just got into Lüneburg and saw this huge water tower behind me here, and it looks like you can go up to the top. So you know we're a sucker for views here at My Travel BF, and let's see how the views are.
So we just came down from the water tower, and I will say that the actual view from the top wasn't that impressive to me. I feel really bad saying that because it was still really beautiful, but I think it's going to be a lot better once we actually get into the city and can see some of the old town close up. Now, all that said, I think it was still worth it. It was €6 a person, but the best part is the actual water tank and the activities you can do, especially if you have kids. There's different interactive parts that definitely makes it worth it.
So we just happened to stumble across the Church of St. Jacob's, which is right behind me here, and I would say the inside was pretty impressive, especially because it's free, but the organ was super detailed, and I would say something you definitely just have to stop in and see here in Lüneburg. Now, the most impressive thing about this and the most interesting thing is actually the spire way up top, and that's because it's really crooked. Now, you could see that from the water tower, but it's something that you just have to check out, and there is a pretty interesting legend that actually goes along with it. So now, as legend has it, the architect who made the Leaning Tower saw the construction after he finished and decided to climb the stairs to the top of the church tower and jump off in shame to the depths of the city below. However, just at that moment, a hay cart drove past, and as luck would have it, the architect landed softly in it and survived. Supposedly, he thought to himself, if I'm still alive after this jump, then it must be God's will that the tower is so crooked. With this certainty, he decided to go out and celebrate. Got drunk in a pub, fell from a bench, and broke his neck and died. So, a bit of a morbid story and a little bit of a local legend that goes behind the crooked spire at St. John's Church here in Lüneburg. Now, Lüneburg actually dates back more than 100,000 years ago, and that's because they found Neanderthal artifacts and bones dating back that far. However, the actual city itself didn't actually exist until the 10th century when it was first written about, but it was really in the 1300s that it absolutely exploded in terms of popularity and wealth, and that's because of the salt mines that exist here. The salt trade that really took off in the Middle Ages is what made this city so prominent and really put Lüneburg on the map. It's something quite unique, and I think it's a pretty interesting historical fact because I will say that I don't believe salt put a lot of places on the map. Now, salt was particularly important at the time because it actually worked to preserve herring, a fish from the North and Baltic seas nearby. Plus, Lüneburg is strategically located on a bunch of trade routes going from Scandinavia down to Rome and across East and Western Europe. So again, it's something pretty interesting about this city. So after walking around this beautiful city for a while, we are actually going to go get something to eat. And we're going to stop at the oldest pub here in Lüneburg. It's been operating since 1485. And another little fun fact about Lüneburg is that it actually has the highest density of bars of any city in Europe other than Madrid, Spain. And if you've been following us at My Travel BF for a while now, you know we actually used to live in Madrid and absolutely loved it. We have an entire playlist right here of all our videos that we did, including food and travel in and around Madrid, Spain. So make sure to check that out here. Now, let's go get some food. So because we stopped here at the oldest pub here in Lüneburg, I had to get the Lüneburger Pilsner here. It's a hot day here. It's probably like 85 degrees. So let's try it out. I'm a huge fan of German Pilsners, but I'm gonna say this one actually isn't my favorite. It's nice, cold, refreshing. It'll go down smooth, but it's definitely not my favorite one here. Now, they have one that's the Kronen Dunkel that I might have to try if I decide to get a second one, but I'm excited for the food we got on the way because it looks absolutely delicious. All right, so for the first thing we got, it's mushroom time here in Lüneburg and in Germany. And we decided to get the mushroom knuddel. So it's a little bit of a dumpling mixed with some, I guess, mushroom gravy sauce. Let's give it a go. I'm gonna mix it all together here in one bite. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love these fresh mushrooms. Personally, I think it's better than asparagus thyme as well as pumpkin thyme. And this is to die for. This is absolutely delicious. So the second thing we decided to get was a beet carpaccio with pumpkin seeds and goat cheese. I'm gonna try to grab everything again in one bite here. Oh my God, the goat cheese and fresh beet. This is so good. I know it's not all super traditional German, especially this, but the flavors are incredible. I'm gonna say if you wanna stop in a historic pub while you're here in Lüneburg, definitely stop in here, at least for a drink, but if you're hungry, it's a great place to eat too. All right, so I had to get the one other beer that they're known for, and that is the Kronen Dunkel. It's the brewery that first started here. It's no longer in existence here, but it is the one that was first originally here. So I'm not a huge Dunkel fan, but this one is outstanding. I highly recommend it, and I actually wish I would have gotten this one first. It's smooth. This has like a little bit of caramel chocolate, some of those rich malty notes, and wow, this one's, I would say, surprisingly actually more refreshing than the pills I had before. Definitely a must get when you're here. So we're just leaving Krone Brauhaus here, and I just have to say one more time that this beer garden is absolutely excellent. You got the half-timbered houses, super old and historic here, and it's surrounded by a little bit of green trees. You get shade, you get sun, and it's definitely a place we'd recommend coming when you're here in Lüneburg. So since salt is what made Lüneburg famous, let's check out the German Salt Museum. So we just got out of the German Salt Museum, and it was €8 to enter, which seemed quite steep when it was a pretty small museum and pretty quick to go through, and everything was simply about salt, even though it is perhaps the most important thing in Lüneburg here, because it's what really made this city famous and what, quite frankly, made it as beautiful as it is today. One thing that we've noticed in Germany here is these specialty small museums in small cities in Germany are almost 100% in German, which makes total sense, and improving our German is definitely something we have to work on while we're here in Germany. However, they did have an English audio guide for €2 that did make it worth it and made it a little bit better. Now, if you speak German, I would say visiting the German Salt Museum here in Lüneburg is definitely something you have to do, because salt's kind of unique, and it's what really makes this city quite a special place here in northern Germany and in the world. One of the more unique sites in Lüneburg is called the Pregnant House, and you definitely won't miss it if you're walking down the street. It gets its pregnant, bulbous shape from the materials used in the wall absorbing moisture from the outdoor elements. Now, some believe that it's because the bricks were fired too long, which allowed them to absorb this moisture. Either way, it's certainly a unique and different site to see in Lüneburg that's free, and you can easily walk past while exploring this historic northern German city. So right behind me here is the old salt crane in Lüneburg, and something interesting is that it was built in 1330 and it's still actually operational today. It was used to move salt in the medieval times and the Middle Ages, and I think it's something pretty cool that they still have today, and of course, that can still be used today. So in thinking about the architecture here in Lüneburg, it's absolutely exceptional. We really love it, and it's especially unique because it's quite a bit different than some of the other cities here in northern Germany, as it's not just the half-timbered houses, but it actually gives me just a little bit of an Amsterdam vibe with some of those old pulley systems and doors that would get things up from the ground and into those higher floors. It's something really unique and definitely worth coming to see, especially if you're looking for an easy day trip from Hanover or Hamburg. In saying that, you could definitely do Lüneburg in a day. You don't have to spend much more time here. And if there's anything we specifically missed, make sure to drop those in the comments below. So while you're here, make sure to check out the other videos popping up on the screen, and we'll see you over at those other videos. Bye.